Hey, it's Matt O'Leary, and it's time for my top 10 prog songs of 2024. We've done the top 30 albums. There are 2 videos there. And now we just need to talk about some prog, it's about time. Because this genre is just firing on all cylinders, I think, right now in 2024. There are prog metal bands that are fantastic. There are folkier, Canterbury style, softer prog, more pastoral stuff going. There's everything in between, I think. In this modern prog scene, so we need to talk about it. I hope this video can shed light on some new artists for you, but there are also some heavy hitters, some big names, some legacy artists in the list. But not this first pick, which is definitely in the more jazzy, modern indie side of prog. It's from the new and very underrated UK band Plantoid. The song's called Wander Wonder. The first half of this 6-minute song is very bouncy, very light. You got these jazzy, stuttering riffs and Chloe Spence's very soft, serene voice. Then halfway through, it splits off in another direction with this other riff and this extended section, a guitar solo, some Latin percussion. Number 9 is the opening track Ornament from the Danish band Isbjorg's new album, Falter Endure. You'll hear some elements of post-rock with this just stadium-worthy hook. It's a piano-led sound, but there are some crunchy guitar moments here too. The song ends with this totally Haken-esque prog metal moment. Just a really cool, diverse modern prog track that has so many elements I like. It's poppy, it's melodic, but it's also really complex, really intense in times. This next pick is from my good YouTube buddy Nathan on Shuffle's album of the year. I was not quite as hot on the whole album as him, but I love this song. It's called Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by the Norwegian band Meer. Tonight, tomorrow, this is hardly traditional prog, but it definitely has that aesthetic sensibility at its core. It's just this gorgeous piano ballad with some unreal vocals. Just a beautiful, swelling, emotive song here. Mir does this indie prog type of thing. And number 7 is similar, but this time in the neo-prog vein, which is not my usual thing. But here I am. The epic In Ordinary Days Odyssey by the Italian prog band The Barock Project. It's all about that vocal, which is so massive. And when it gets to that lighter piano section, it really just showcases the diversity, the emotional range that makes us love this genre. I told you it was coming, and it's coming. A big artist here at number 6. What would any prog list be without Steve Hackett on it with the song Enter the Ring? It's really got that familiar Genesis sound, with the ornate, romantic, arpeggiated acoustic guitar and piano. These very bright, high vocal harmony stacks shift their way through this absolute book of chords. This song has so many chords, and it's so Genesis in that way. Then the flute just busts down the door. You got that Jethro Tull sound, and you got a trading solo section with the flute and Hackett. There's some carnival music outro that fits in the concept with very macabre strings, just everything on the song. And number 5 is my favorite pure progressive metal album of the year, and I've really been known to like a first or second song on any prog metal album. This is The World Breathes With Me by Caligula Horse. Usually opening tracks on a prog metal album aren't the most experimental or boundary pushing. Usually they kind of paint by numbers, but They tend to bring a really big chorus and just huge energy. This 10-minute song showcases pretty much everything the band does well on the entire album. You've got these very celestial sounding guitars that turn into bone crunching guitars, versatile lead vocals, and just great chord and melodic movement. Number 4 is certainly a left field pick, but it's from my favorite EP of the year. This is one of the rising stars in progressive rock, progressive folk, you might say, and that is Ugly UK with the song The Wheel. Rivaling Gentle Giant here with that vocal arrangement, it is seriously weird. The song just, goes through so many odd changes. It's honestly one of the most progressively structured songs I think I've heard this year, while still maintaining its melodicism. There's no good way to describe what you're about to hear, so it's very post-genre in that sense. A product for sure of a globalized and chronically online generation, but also some highly dedicated and disciplined musicians with technical mastery and just endless ambition. Number 3 is gotta go to a band that champions the Canterbury style of progressive rock, which I said in my top albums of the year video is a very elusive niche and subgenre in top lists this year in just the prog scene in general. It's another Norwegian band, Needlepoint, with Back to Nowhere. Needlepoint pulls out all the proto-prog keyboards. You know, you got your electric piano, your Moog, your clavinets, your Hammond organ, all of those are on this thing. This song has their signature sunny sound as Ola Overby just slams and sloshes around on the kit. Dude is just such an exciting drummer. Their song is similar to Dungin in some ways, especially with the drums and the woodwinds. I just love the way this one builds and grows. Each player is doing something super intricate, super complex, but it all works together. You get an organ solo, you get guitar solos. What more could you want? Number 2 is a song that I think represents the best that modern prog can achieve in terms of playing, production, writing, arrangement, and that is from Life in the Wires by Frost. Had to have a Frost song on here. It's the Solid State Orchestra. Jim Godfrey's voice shines, his keyboards, his textured production is so rich. The aesthetic and just overall sound palette of the album and this song is very, it pulls some 80s for sure, but it's more modern. It doesn't have as much to do with classic 70s sound. Very different than Needlepoint in that way. You know, it's much less pastoral and organic. But I would say that if you can't appreciate the writing, the structure of this song, then that's a pretty good sign that you don't like prog. I could have put so many other songs from this album on the list. You know, Life in the Wires, the first one, Evaporator, our favorites. But number 1 was reserved for a true legend, not some modern indie prog act with 2,000 followers on Spotify. You know, it had to be someone with critical acclaim going back decades and decades, and that is John Anderson with Counties and Countries. I've seen counties and countries, gardens of Eden, are calling me. While this album, True by John Anderson and the band Geeks, didn't make my top 30 of the year, there are some undeniable moments on this thing that stand toe-to-toe with, I think, anything that Yes made in the mid-70s. Seriously. A very classic sound here, but this song has it all. It's amazing playing. It's kind of that mini epic length of about 10 minutes, which I usually prefer to the 20-minute epic. But most importantly, it's just so heartwarming to hear that voice again. You know, I don't listen to much Yes beyond the 1970s, so this is nice, you know, to hear something so new, so good. And just what a thrill. His still youthful, super high tenor tone is just the best in the business, if you ask me. You know, it's just a classic delivery. And that's going to do it for my top 10 prog songs of the year. This is not synonymous with my top songs of the year. So I decided to break this up. I'm going to do another video with my top something like indie rock and pop songs of the year, which definitely doesn't cover everything, but you know, gotta pick a label. Like this video if you haven't yet. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Mountains down through